This is Chris Topic at the Community Power Conference. Stefan, we've been talking about power to the people at this conference. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about what your view is from a macro perspective and a global context of the opportunity available to Ontario communities and individuals around local community power generation.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ontario has become really a world leader in community power. This is the first jurisdiction that came up with the legislation that gives special incentives to community power projects. And I think it's really crucial, this kind of approach is crucial for the global success of wind power, because we can see that on the one hand, the kind of acceptance is much, much bigger when we talk about community projects. So the communities are the drivers of wind power, the wind farms, then they will, of course, not oppose it. And at the same time, of course, it's also important that you can also learn here from your new minister here. He's encouraged by the support that he gets for his policies from the communities. So the communities are becoming the political drivers also for this. And it's really great for me to see the success of this now in Ontario, that this is such a strong dynamic development. And we can see now people from around the world coming here. And like from Australia, we have people, we have from South Africa, from Japan. They come here to see how that's going because they want to do the same in their countries.
And what's so compelling about the value proposition to people and to constituents and to being, let's say, a shareholder in a community power project?
Well, I think on the one hand, it's an investment that you can do. No? So you can, when it's done like here with a proper feed-in tariff, then it's a good investment you have in your neighborhood. You see what's happening. And it's different from these financial products. Nobody knows exactly where the money goes to. So you do an investment, you have usually an appropriate return. No? That's one aspect of it. On the one hand, that's on the one hand. On the other side, you also know that you do something somehow meaningful. You contribute to generation of electricity in a sustainable way. And that's a way that we can also continue to do in the future. So there are these both aspects. You do something important, meaningful, also from an ethical viewpoint makes sense, and you earn money out of it. So this combination is perfect, of course, and that's why people like it. As soon as they have understood the potential, of course. And that's why we need conferences like this year, because we have to talk to people and tell them how it works, how they can become involved, and how they can become from activist action, this has been mentioned here, how they can really be then shareholders or even initiators of community projects.
How do you feel the competitiveness or the opportunity for Ontario as a jurisdiction of manufacturing, of intellectual property excellence? How do you think Ontario is positioned globally to take advantage of this emerging opportunity?
Well, frankly speaking, Ontario started late, so there are many countries that have already established a strong wind industry, but I think Ontario has not started too late. So it's a good time now, and as Ontario is now offering a stable long-term market, that makes it also very attractive for manufacturing industries. I think, but how that can work, we can learn a lot from China. They started also relatively late, like 5-6 years ago, and now China is number one worldwide. They started with joint ventures. They started at the same time with developing their own technology. So various ways of cooperation, but also encouraging their own industries. And that's something also your government should look at. I know there is this local content requirement. I think that makes, in a certain way, that makes sense, how to incentivize local manufacturing. But I think it's important to keep your eyes open, not only to focus on one company, that's important, and especially also make sure that the companies that are here, they're still very small, I'm sure. Many of them potentially can become big, but don't kind of close the market just by incentivizing some big companies. A lot will happen here, I'm sure. It's very difficult to predict who exactly will succeed. I mean, who was able to predict the success of RIM in a couple of years ago? And now this is a world-famous company, and because the market was there. The market is here now. There's a potential home market for wind equipment, for wind turbines. And I'm sure there will be a lot of investment will happen here. It's something, again, that will not happen immediately overnight. But for such an investment, it's even more than for an investment in a wind farm. You need to know there is a stable market over a couple of years. The conditions are good now. So I'm sure that Ontario will be a manufacturing hub in the future.